She asks if it is the honey badger and she is feeling some strangely intricate mana from it. Prince Michael says that the honey badger was fighting 5 lions alone, which really shocked Isabelle. Lancer asks whether Michael is talking about that tiny thing on his back, and Prince Michael answers affirmatively. He reveals that the lions were ganging up on Honey Badger unfairly, so he helps him out. Hearing it, Isabelle starts laughing, noting that this world really makes her realize it is indeed a fantasy world over and over again. Prince Michael mentions he could have been on time, but he is a bit late because he saved a poor animal who was in danger. Considering he was late due to chivalry, he pleads with Lancer to understand his situation. Simple-hearted Lancer is amazed, demonstrating the chivalry he always emphasizes, deserving praise, not reprimand. Isabelle knows head-maid Delsa is watching Lancer and Michael. Lancer asks if Delsa thinks the same, but her ultimate scary aura is the answer in itself. Getting a grasp of the situation, knowing that the real power in the palace is definitely the head-maid Delsa, Isabelle makes a big decision that she needs to make a cute impression on the head-maid Delsa. Abruptly, she tells Delsa that she is hungry and asks if they can eat together in the room. Later, teacher Karen and Isabelle are doing their lesson. Isabelle keeps staring at Karen, thinking that she is up to something suspicious because Karen seems strangely attentive to her, suspecting of having an ulterior motive. She thinks Karen might be collecting the mana in her breath for Narvital research. However, Karen's magic skills are real. Isabelle suddenly raises her hand, saying she has a question. Karen tells her to go ahead. Isabelle asks if she knows about honey badgers. Karen replies that she does. Isabelle inquires if honey badgers have a distortion of intricate mana. Karen answers that it is rare but it is possible, explaining that usually it happens when they eat a mana-infused magic stone. Fearless animals like honey badgers tend to eat anything they see. Isabelle then asks if the distortion can be used for something. Karen, looking at her, thinks that it is magical. Intuition tells her that it is very rare because there is a certain magical flow that some people can instinctively grasp, and the world calls them geniuses. Karen asks Isabelle if she feels she can do something specific. Isabelle wonders why Karen looks at her like that and tells teacher Karen that she is not sure, but she reveals to Karen that she feels like she could be friends with the honey badger. Karen suggests studying it together. Karen begins increasing the class time to frequently study with Isabelle. A few days pass, and teacher Karen explains to Isabelle that using the Drywall theorem, the equation can be somewhat completed. However, there are numbers that can't be defined by the magical formulas that Isabelle learned, so she can't perfectly complete them. After saying that, Karen looks at Isabelle, who always purses her lips cutely when concentrating. Karen always finds it really adorable. Isabelle, analyzing the equation, says that it is unclear how to define the root of the square numbers. Karen is not similar with those phrases, so she asks Isabelle if she can express it more clearly. Isabelle explains that the magical number is negative, but the problem is it should take the form of a square number. Karen agrees on this statement. Karen, the ultimate mastermind and a genius magician, has high standards, so even if Isabelle unleashes the knowledge of an average Korean student, it wouldn't seem special. Even so, Isabelle passed the Korean University entrance exam with a math essay. Isabelle tells teacher Karen that a negative result from squaring doesn't exist in the realm of real numbers. Teacher Karen then asks what concept they should use to solve it. Isabelle answers that by applying the concept of imaginary numbers and drawing the complex plane, the z-value can be seen as a point on the coordinate plane corresponding to the sum of real number and imaginary b. Teacher Karen confirms this and asks how they can find the value of the root that should be substituted into the final magic equation. Isabelle answers by calculating the angle theta on this plane. Isabelle solves the z-value while explaining it to Karen, telling her that z-value can be found through trigonometric functions and then it can be expressed as the sum of cosine and sine functions. Teacher Karen is amazed by Isabelle's skills and asks if the equation is too complex to solve by hand. Isabelle answers that she can easily solve the equation by using linear algebra concepts and matrix calculations, which is a 4x4 matrix, a concept that doesn't exist in the current magical formula world. With deaf gazes, according to Isabelle's POV, teacher Karen asks who taught her that. Isabelle is shocked and asks if something is wrong. Teacher Karen says that there is nothing wrong. That's why she must know who taught her. Isabelle wonders if Karen wants to know that the one who taught her is Karen's ally or not. Isabelle reveals to Karen that she just knew it from long ago and again asks if she did something wrong. Teacher Karen comes to the conclusion that Isabelle figured out the answer on her own while thinking in her mind that the princess is unbelievably a genius among geniuses. Karen suddenly tells Isabelle that they need to represent the new formula at the academic conference, so she wants Isabelle to come with her. Hearing it, Isabelle becomes shocked and asks to confirm whether they are going to the place together. Teacher Karen answers yes and says that if the formula gets officially published in an academic journal, it would be Isabelle's great achievement and intellectual property, which will surely help Isabelle. Isabelle wonders if Karen is planning to kidnap her under the pretext of the conference. So Isabelle tries to decline the offer by telling Teacher Karen that she doesn't need achievements and intellectual property because they are rich and already have a lot of money. Teacher Karen grabs her, telling her that she still has to go. Isabelle insists that she doesn't need it. Teacher Karen gets vexed and asks why she is so devoid of ambition and what if she stole her theory and published it under her name. Teacher Karen tells herself that she knows the truth. The reason why the princess has no ambition for fame and achievements is that the time spent with her nanny today is much more precious than a few weeks of honorable time at the conference, because the princess doesn't have much time left. Isabelle asks Teacher Karen if she is angry with her and wonders why Karen's expression looks so upset. She apologizes to Teacher Karen for making her upset. Teacher Karen says she is not angry and apologizes to Isabelle, telling her that she will go to the conference as her proxy and it will be published under her name at first, but it will be transferred to her achievement, and she must allow that much. Isabelle agrees and decides to do it, thanking her teacher. Isabelle reaches her hand to Teacher Karen, who sees the Narvidal mark on it. Since history was recorded, not a single person has survived the curse of the stigma of Narvidal. It is a punishment from the divines, and humanity accepts the mark as a death sentence. But Karen vows to save the princess somehow, even if it costs her life. Why are both of them thinking the exact opposite? Prince Michael is playing with Honey Badger, telling it that even if Honey Badger hides, it is in his hands. Honey Badger suddenly bites him, making him shocked. Michael asks why Honey Badger is attacking while he is off guard and why it bites, and then glares at him and angrily decides to bite Honey Badger back. Isabelle tells him that he can really bite Honey Badger and asks Michael to try biting it, while revealing that Honey Badger's skin is so tough and firm that her brother's teeth would just feel ticklish. She asks why he always hides by himself. It is unfair. She accuses her brother of being a selfish creature. Her brother is really shocked and asks how she knows that. Isabelle explains that she combines the Honey Badger's mana with a magic formula she created to complete a small spell, calling it an interpretation of magic. Her brother asks if she is learning magic, and Isabelle confirms she is. She then tells Honey Badger to come to her for a moment, and the Honey Badger looks at her and suddenly comes to her happily. Watching it, Prince Michael gets annoyed, remarking that Honey Badger always bites him, but it doesn't bite Isabelle, but instead whenever Isabelle holds it, Honey Badger smiles. Isabelle uses magic to make a conversation with the Honey Badger, who suddenly responds that he doesn't like Prince Michael, expressing his strong dislike toward him. Prince Michael asks why the Honey Badger dislikes him. The Honey Badger replies that all good things and all bad things are for himself. Upon hearing, Prince Michael replies that he thought of the Honey Badger as a friend. But the Honey Badger immediately disagrees, calling him not a friend but a feeder. Prince Michael finds this harsh and offers another chance, asking what the Honey Badger really thinks of him. The Honey Badger bluntly calls him a jerk and identifies Isabelle as a guardian. Isabelle wonders if the interpretation magic is that effective or if it's something anyone can do. The Honey Badger calls her guardian master and inquires about her last name. Isabelle explains that her current surname is Bylocian and wonders if Honey Badger's name should be Honey Bylocian, but it sounded so weird and it is also hard to pronounce, so she decides on a simpler name and comes up with Kim Honeybee. The Honey Badger smiles and really likes the name. Honey Badger agrees to be called Kim Honeybee. When Teacher Karen learns that Isabelle had a conversation with the Honey Badger, she is really shocked and asks if Isabelle could express the Honey Badger's thoughts in writing and complete a magic theory, applying it practically in her absence. Isabelle confirms that she worked hard on it. Teacher Karen reflects that it's not just about having magic theory and power. The magic caster must have an innate affinity to communicate with animals or magical creatures, and there must be a compatible animal with the affinity's frequency and resonance. She doubts the Honey Badger's intelligence and concludes that it is the princess's special power amplifying the Honey Badger's feelings and humanizing them for interpretation. Consoling that Isabelle must have naturally integrated mana amplification theory as well, showing that she is undoubtedly more of a genius than she thought. Teacher Karen praises Isabelle for her hard work in her absence. Isabelle, seeking further validation, asks if she did well, and Teacher Karen confirms it, expressing high hopes for Isabelle's future. Now Isabelle seems fluent in both human and honey badger languages. Isabelle and Kim Honeybee embrace each other, with Isabelle feeling Kim Honeybee's warmth and softness, which feels really good to hold. Suddenly, Prince Michael takes Kim Honeybee from Isabelle's hands, saying it is time to go home and telling Isabelle to see him next time. Isabelle agrees but thinks to herself that it was warm and nice holding Kim Honeybee. Her nanny comments on the honey badger's fierceness to the prince yet gentleness to the princess, noting that honey badger is not friendly to Luluka either. Isabelle believes honey badger is just shy but is a good friend. She considers that Kim Honeybee seems very sensitive to heat and decides that she should learn some cold-natured magic, so she asks her nanny if Kim Honeybee would like it, and her nanny assures her that he would. Later, in Prince Michael's room, he has a commotion with Kim Honeybee, questioning why it scratches him without knowing gratitude, and decides to scratch Kim Honeybee back. Prince Michael charges toward Honeybee, however, Kim Honeybee jumps high and then suddenly vanishes into thin air. Prince Michael becomes really shocked, realizes that Kim Honeybee can teleport, and resolves not to mess with him next time. Kim Honeybee reappears in some unknown cave, and someone calls Kim Honeybee as Aaron, and tells him that it is time to return to his true form. Gradually, Kim Honeybee transforms into a young, black-haired boy. Aaron is being asked if he has come to his senses, and a woman approaches him. It is his mother. He tells her that he has already returned. The woman, Black Dragon Chamilia, comments with a knowing smile that he must have had a good learning experience today. Aaron, looking puzzled, asks what happened, admitting that he doesn't remember anything. His mother reassures him that this is normal and gently asks for his name. When he answers that she just told him it is Aaron, she reminds him with a soft chuckle that he is just a 100-year-old baby dragon. She explains patiently that he must keep awakening his self-awareness to remember who he is. She then asks if she can look at what has happened to him lately, and he agrees. Holding his head tenderly, she reviews his recent experiences and tells him that he has been having good ones. Aaron, still curious, inquires about these experiences, and his mother smiles, saying he will understand when he grows up. She suggests they go into his room to continue talking. Once in the room, Aaron asks why he has to do those annoying things. His mother explains gently that it is to become a good adult. He questions if not doing these things will make him a bad adult, and she concedes thoughtfully that this could be the case. She offers to tell him an old story. She recounts that once there was a black dragon who called itself the Black Dragon of Ultimate Destruction, Annihilation, and Stealth. Aaron, intrigued, asks what it was, and his mother laughs, saying the name sounds like something a 50-year-old rookie would give themselves to sound cool. When he asks if she knows that dragon, she replies that it was a distant relative, a cousin's story. Chamilia continues the story, describing how dragons are born as predators, naturally reigning over everything without effort, reciting magic spells, and performing miracles with dragon words. The Black Dragon of Ultimate Destruction, Annihilation, and Stealth, having everything, was extremely bored and sought to relieve its boredom by showing off its power. However, one day, a cute human appeared and promised to make the dragon happy by giving it a ring. Though it seemed ridiculous that a human could make a dragon happy, the Black Dragon found the human amusing. Eventually, the dragon's boredom decreased, and it stopped its massacres, realizing that cuteness prevented destruction. Chamilia concludes that cuteness is the scariest thing. Aaron feels amazed by the story, and his mother says that as a result of such events, dragons realized they were not perfect. They understood the dangers of an imperfect being possessing near-perfect power, leading to a law requiring young dragons like Aaron to have various activities and experiences during their childhood, including living as other animals. This helps them understand and empathize with the thoughts of other species. However, for a complete experience, a dragon's self-identity must be erased, with these experiences settling deep within the soul. If Aaron remembers everything now, his identity as a dragon might be shaken, which is why his memories of his transformed state are sealed. Aaron suddenly asks his mom about Kim Honeybee. His mother, surprised, asks where he heard that name. Aaron replies that he doesn't know, it just came to his mind. Chamilia, thinking to herself, finds it strange that he remembers that and wonders if there is any connection between the girl who gave him the name and Aaron. Back to Isabelle, she is covering her ears, saying it is scary. Lancer asks if the Black Dragon story is what scares her, noting that the Black Dragon of Ultimate Destruction, Annihilation, and stealth had many nicknames, indicating it did many different and scary things. Isabelle, covering her eyes, agrees it is really scary, internally noting that she hasn't felt this scared in a long time and it feels like there is a real black dragon around. She suddenly asks if the black dragon still exists and does bad things. Lancer reassures her that a brave warrior punished the bad black dragon, which promised never to do bad things again and to help the warrior. He adds that the warrior in the story was the first emperor of the Bossan Empire, and the black dragon became a guardian dragon, secretly protecting the royal family. Isabelle is amazed, thinking that Lancer's story is interesting but noting that she has never seen the term guardian dragon in the novel. She reflects that protecting the royal family is her father's job. Prince Michael and Isabelle are together in the sala, making something. Prince Michael holds a blue stone, saying it is hard and tasteless. Isabelle asks if his teeth are okay, and he replies that he almost smashed them. Isabelle corrects him, noting that he usually says he almost broke them. Prince Michael asks what the stone is and if it is his present. Isabelle explains that if he puts mana into the magic stone, a cold wind will blow out. Prince Michael, shocked, finds it amazing. Isabelle comments that because their world isn't peaceful, magic related to daily life hasn't developed much compared to magic related to war or combat, which might be why. Prince Michael expresses interest in researching those little magics, and Isabelle encourages him to do so. Isabelle asks the honey badger, now named Kim Honeybee, if he likes the name. Kim Honeybee responds that it is good, but then clarifies that it is totally not. Isabelle, confused, asks if he dislikes being called Honeybee, and Kim Honeybee confirms this. Isabelle finds it strange, noting that he used to like it when she called his name. When she calls him Kim Honeybee again, he affirms it, saying it is correct, and jumps to Isabelle. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace's underground storage, Lord Biotin walks through, sensing mana from the frozen storage area, and wondering who could have caused it. He is shocked when he realizes the source of the mana. Later, Lord Biotin reports to the Emperor, being asked about the result. Lord Biotin, having searched thoroughly, cannot find any evidence, so he plans to catch and beat Wilhelm up regardless. The Emperor asks what if Wilhelm is not the culprit. Lord Biotin replies that even if he is innocent, it would serve as a warning to the real culprit, admitting that he never liked Wilhelm anyway. The Emperor questions if Lord Biotin saw Wilhelm's greedy look at the princess during the gift-giving ceremony. Biotin confirms, describing the unmistakable filthy look Wilhelm had while staring at Isabelle, and regrets not gouging Wilhelm's eyes out back then, though Wilhelm managed to escape. Suddenly, the Emperor glares at Lord Biotin, questioning if he missed Wilhelm on purpose. Biotin, nervously, confirms he did. Shifting topics, he mentions the underground storage being completely frozen upon his return to the palace. The Emperor asks what he means, and Biotin explains it appears to be unintentional mana leakage causing the freeze. He adds that the surprising thing is it seems the princess's magic caused the storage to freeze. The Emperor shows no surprise, prompting Biotin to ask why. The Emperor calmly questions at which point he should be surprised. Annoyed, Biotin emphasizes it wasn't from normal ice magic but from a side effect of some other magic, causing the freeze in the middle of summer. Given the size of the arena palace's underground storage, even an outstanding mage couldn't achieve such a freeze with normal ice magic, implying the princess's innate mana capacity and quality are beyond imagination, a genius level. The Emperor responds that it is natural since she is his daughter. Shocked, Biotin realizes the Emperor already believed in his daughter's remarkable abilities and is left speechless. As Isabelle's fifth winter approaches, she reflects on how quickly time has flown and how busy she has been due to Karin's delayed return. Studying magical theories and formulas on her own, she finds it so enjoyable that she loses track of time. She ponders Wilhelm's disappearance and whether it is related to Vet's departure on a mission and Karin's delayed return, wondering if they are plotting something. She dismisses these ominous thoughts, deciding to focus on the present and the magic formulas before her. Suddenly, her brother calls her, inviting her to go sledding. He promises to take her to a really fun place. Surprised, Isabelle admits she has never been sledding before. Prince Michael reassures her that it's not difficult and she should trust him. She asks if they will make a snowman together, and he agrees, especially for her. Excited, she asks if she can be enthusiastic about it, and Michael confirms she can. Isabelle stands up, declaring that she will trust only him. Michael responds that she can only trust him. Delsa suddenly arrives, insisting they can't go out without the Guardian's permission. The Guardian is Isabelle herself. Both Isabelle and Michael are shocked. Lancer asks Delsa if she knows why, and Delsa replies no. Lancer points out that even though he is the palace's sword instructor, Delsa does not trust him. Just then, someone else offers to take them out. It is Lord Byron. Isabelle, delighted to see her teacher, runs toward him. Lord Byron remarks how much she has grown cuter and hugs her tightly, saying he almost died missing his princess. Isabelle reciprocates, saying she missed him too and was sad when he left without saying goodbye. Suddenly, Byron notices the honey badger above his head and asks about the rude creature. Isabelle apologizes, introducing the honey badger as her friend and asking if it is okay. Lord Byron, smiling, internally thinks she almost killed him. Isabelle quickly changes the topic, asking Delsa and the head maid if they can go out with Lord Byron. Delsa concedes, allowing them to go. Lancer internally wishes he could join too. Delsa instructs Lord Byron to take good care of the princess and the prince, and Byron assures her not to worry. Isabelle, for the first time in both her current and previous life, is about to go sledding. She feels excited but unaware that they will be sledding on a scary icy mountain for the teleportation gate. Teleportation gates are a marvel of magical engineering, enabling instant travel but are prohibitively expensive and require significant maintenance. Consequently, even within the royal palace, they are rare. Isabelle, though thrilled at the idea of sledding, becomes frightened as they reach the high mountain, convinced she might fall and die. Sensing her fear, Lord Byron gently holds and hugs her, reassuring her with a warm promise that he won't let go. Comforted by his embrace, Isabelle feels a bit more secure. Her anxiety turns to astonishment as she watches Prince Michael confidently prepare for ice diving from the mountain. She can't believe he uses such a treacherous place for his pastime. Michael, brimming with excitement, boasts about his strength and resilience, saying he's not weak enough to die from such activities. He fastens his skates, gliding onto the ice with practiced ease. Turning to Isabelle, he tells her to watch closely. Then, with a competitive gleam in his eye, he challenges Kim Honeybee to a race to the ravine. The honey badger, eager to prove itself, accepts the challenge and starts running alongside Michael. Isabelle watches in awe and a bit of worry as Michael and Kim Honeybee race towards the ravine. The speed and agility of both are impressive, creating a thrilling spectacle on the icy terrain. As they dart towards the finish line, Lord Byron continues to hold Isabelle, ensuring her that everything is under control and she is safe. Isabelle watches as Michael and Kim Honeybee race toward the ravine with serious determination. She wonders why they are so intense about it, even the usually playful honey badger. Despite her initial excitement about sledding, fear grips her and she decides against it. Clinging tightly to Byron, she repeats her plea for him not to let go, which he gladly reassures her. As the day progresses, Isabelle never gets to sled even once, finding comfort and safety in Byron's arms. When they return to the castle, Isabelle expresses her gratitude to Byron, asking if his hands are hurting from holding her so long. Byron smiles warmly and assures her that it was his pleasure, and that his hands are not hurting at all. Curious about the teleportation gate they used, Isabelle asks Byron why such an expensive and difficult-to-maintain device is placed in such a remote area. Byron is delighted by her question, proud of her keen observation and knowledge. He indulges her curiosity with exaggerated explanations, which Isabelle enjoys. Isabelle then comments that the teleportation gate in that area doesn't seem very useful. Byron explains, teased because it's the Elber Mountains, a place of strategic and historical significance. Isabelle tells Byron that she knows the place. It borders mountains at the frontier. It even makes Byron more impressive because Isabelle also knows about the Elber Mountains. The Elber Mountains are a massive mountain range located at the northernmost edge of the continent. To the north of the Elber Mountains lies the unclaimed land, and beyond that is the empire of non-humans, Mutanian. Upon hearing it, Byron asks how she knows all that. She is about to spill the beans but controls herself and says that she read all that in a book. Byron doesn't think suspicious of her but instead is pleased that the princess is so knowledgeable. She feels relieved and worried because she is almost about to mention that she read those books 17 times over. Then, Isabelle says to Byron that she is hurt by him. It makes Byron so worried, and he shakes his head and asks what he did. Isabelle tells him that even though it might have seemed nothing to him, she was really scared but comments that Byron seems very happy watching her. He becomes more worried because he laughs a lot because he finds her very cute. Isabelle says that she feels a bit upset because it seems like her thoughts and feelings aren't considered. Hearing this, Byron kneels down and tells Isabelle that he is glad she is scared because she isn't afraid of the scariest things in the world. Seeing her so calm in front of those things makes Biotin's heart ache. He feels so upset and helpless. But at the mountains, when she said she was scared of dying and clung to him, he was endlessly happy. He states that liking her fear must make him a bad teacher. Isabelle feels a warmth because she doesn't think Biotin would feel that way. He seems so pitiful. When she is about to say some words of affection to Biotin, suddenly her belly makes a growling noise, and she feels so embarrassed. Hearing it, Biotin starts laughing and asks if she wants to eat a sandwich. He knows a really delicious sandwich place near the royal palace, so they decide to go there. Biotin offers her the sandwich and asks if she has forgiven him, to which she says yes. Eating a delicious sandwich makes her happy. Later, in a session with Lancer, she tells him about the guards standing watch at the bases in the Elber Mountains. Even though it really bothers Isabelle, she also feels sorry for the guards because they are in such a cold place, constantly watching out for monsters and non-human invaders, and can't use the teleportation gate. She feels ashamed sledding in front of them. Lancer tells her that she doesn't have to be bothered by it because they are commoners and she is loyal. He also explains that it costs a large amount to operate the teleportation gate just once, so unless one is from a royal family, it can only be used in national emergencies. Isabelle disagrees with Lancer and shares her belief that there is a reason the royals can use the teleportation gate to the Elber freely. She believes it is to experience the Elber Mountains firsthand, to see the soldiers who suffer and dedicate themselves to the peace and safety of the Empire. She adds that it is not meant for sledding like her brother Michael does. Lancer acknowledges that Isabelle is correct and is surprised that, even though the meaning has faded, the original intent was as the princess said. While he is deep in thought, Isabelle shows him a paper plane and shares something she has been thinking about for a while. She wants to create a teleportation gate that people can use frequently. After Lancer's session ends, it is time for Karin's session, but she is late. When Karin arrives, she apologizes to Isabelle for being late. Nervously, Isabelle says it is okay, but in her thoughts, she notes that Karin has always been scary, and today her expression seems even scarier. Despite her fear, Isabelle still wants to say something important to Karin. Isabelle reveals her feelings, expressing her desire to leave something that people will remember her by. She wants people to remember her with good memories. She happily recounts the sledding incident to Karin. After explaining it, Isabelle tells Karin that she wants to create something that allows commoners to use the teleportation gate more frequently.